I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Avengers Infinity War is by far the most ambitious movie we've ever made. It really is the start of the culmination of, at this point, 19 Marvel Cinematic Universe films, and will feature almost every hero that we've introduced into the universe all in one movie. One of the great joys of reading a Marvel comic is flipping through a Spider-Man comic and suddenly the Hulk appears. That is great fun, and up to that point, it had never been done in a movie before, which is why 10 years ago, Sam Jackson walked into Tony Stark's living room and said, "You're part of a bigger universe, you just don't know it yet." And now here we are 10 years later, and everybody knows it.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good. Wow.
We look at all the different aspect ratios, but the pure form and the biggest form with all of the information is that IMAX frame. So there are things happening above and below frames that if you're not seeing in IMAX, you're not seeing it. We filmed a cool thing once with Benedict Cumberbatch being Doctor Strange and pushing the frame up. What's fun with Infinity War is that's the entire film. Because when you have a storyline this big, and when you have the promise of a culmination of all these different storylines, we wanted to tell it in the biggest format possible.
The end is near.
The IMAX screen has a different height than a traditional movie screen. Those that go to an IMAX theater will see a much taller view of the image. So if you're in a traditional theater, it's going to be narrower. If you're in an IMAX theater, it's going to be expanded. There's more information in the frame. There's more storytelling to look at. You see more of the characters, you see more of their powers, you see more of the scale of the film. So it's just presented on a much grander frame than a traditional movie theater.
We got one advantage. He's coming to us. We have what Thanos wants, so that's what we use.
We have characters in this movie like Thanos who are taller than normal human beings are. When you're framing those kind of characters in the same frame, it can become really challenging with a normal aspect ratio to like hold those height differentials in a single frame. And it forces you into certain angles and certain types of frames and lens choices. And having that extra verticality, like Joe was talking about, gives us a wider range of how we frame and how we shoot these characters, how we present them in the same frame together.
When you sit in an IMAX theater, it takes up your entire field of vision. And you begin to forget that there even are borders. And you're in the entire movie. And as a filmmaker, that's what you want the audience to experience. Having more information, having technology at our disposal is just storytelling freedom. And having the enormity of the frame that IMAX delivers just gave Joe and Anth more room to tell their story. It really is the difference when we go through and work on the movie. You can hear an audible gasp in the visual effects room where everybody goes, and you suddenly see the whole thing. It comes down to the difference between watching a frame and experiencing a world.
I hope they remember you.
First blanch, it's hard to know what to make of Cumberbatch. And then the more time I spent with him on and off set, I just kind of infatuated with this guy.
I was thinking, you know, the journey that Robert Downey Jr. has made, he's the godfather of all this.
It has literally been the adventure of a lifetime. I get a little misty thinking about it. So, you know, I lucked out.
How is this dude still alive?
He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man. A handsome, muscular man. I'm muscular.
You know, out of all of the people that I've had the good fortune to work with, these two particular guys and the triumvirate that we formed together, it's very special friendship and decade plus of time together.
Go team, yeah!
It's been this witnessing of like people's lives growing and changing. It's been a really cool experience.
Working with Lizzie has been really, really awesome. And I think there is something very powerful about being able to play women who do heroic things. And those women are so awesome, so we've had a really good time.
Hanging out with everyone on the set is one of the best parts of this job, actually, because it does have this kind of large, extended family feel.
I had a bit of a bucket list. I wanted to work with Prax. I thought he'd be good fun. Proven completely wrong on that front. He was arduous and boring and not particularly funny.
Boom! Well,
Here we are on the set of Avengers. I've been lucky enough, along with other Guardians of the Galaxy, to join up with the Avengers and be here and get an opportunity to save the world.
Does it make you an Avenger now as well?
I don't know. I hope maybe like a third string Avenger. Yeah.
I was one of the founding members, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, so he's huge.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
One of the early decisions we made on Infinity War, we knew we wanted to go big. The storyline of Infinity War is big. The cast roster and character roster of Infinity War is big. The visual effects, the worlds we visit are big. The movie had to seem big. And Joe and Ant said, let's shoot in IMAX. And the question up to that point was, okay, well, which sequences? I said, no, the entire movie should be shot in IMAX.
They're fantastic cameras. The chip is incredible. It's at a resolution that is unprecedented. So I think as filmmakers, it's an amazing tool for us, the way that it captures light, the way that it captures color.
On the roof!
In Civil War, we had a sequence that took place in an airport. And that really became a test scene for us for a couple of reasons. The first was we never had that many characters interacting with each other before in one sequence. It was also a test for those IMAX cameras to say, can we utilize the sheer enormity of this frame? And the answer quickly was yes. It was the success of that sequence with all the cast, with the IMAX cameras, and with Joe and Anthony Russo directing that really gave us the confidence to say, let's even embark on Infinity War. Let's put more characters in it. Let's certainly have Joe and Anthony direct it, and let's use IMAX cameras for the whole thing.
This does put a smile on my face.
I think if you were to look at the last 10 years as a book, Avengers 3 and Avengers 4 are the final chapters of that book. There's some endings, there's some new beginnings.
One of the great values of these movies is like nobody's ever seen something quite like them.
The level of ambition in these films are pretty high, and we needed equipment that could help us fulfill that ambition.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. You feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same.
From day one on a production, when the cameras first start rolling, we think about the audience that is anticipating the experience, that will be buying their tickets early, waiting online if they have to, reserving their seats, sitting in that theater, waiting for the lights to go down. And we just think about one thing and one thing only, delivering on that promise, delivering on that experience. And that's the immersive experience that IMAX gives you, where you lose the rest of the theater, you don't see it, all you see is the image, and allows you to be in that world. Because that's what we want. That's what we want the audience to experience, is to be on that journey with us, with the characters, in as full and